the rules this morning. Okay? I'm here to enforce them. You're here to obey them, all right? Give me a good, clean fight, and I will not bother either one of you. Most of all, protect yourself at all times. Shake hands. Good luck to Brazil.
Final words from Tony Perez. I wasn't sure if Pinklon was going to take off the hat. 10-round heavyweight bout, our main event, Evander Holyfield versus Pinklon Thomas, the former WBC heavyweight champ.
The static in the air, the electricity here is almost like the old garden. The place is packed. Heavyweights with the title shimmering in the distance with Tyson around, and here we go.
Holyfield in the white with the gold trim. Thomas in the white with the pink trim. And as we said at the outset, key factor going in, will Thomas's inactivity affect his conditioning, particularly tonight, because one of Holyfield's best qualities is his recovery power, his recuperative power. And look out now, as Thomas got tangled up between the legs of Holyfield. What a start.
A little sloppy. The only thing I saw in that opening flurry is that Pinklon has landed the jab a couple of times and popped back the head of Evander Holyfield. Now, Holyfield wasn't supposed to be eating that jab. So let's see what happens as it develops. Keep your eye on the left jab of Pinklon Thomas. That took him to the championship.
And Holyfield, known for his great hand speed and foot speed. Can Evander withstand a legitimate heavyweight jab owned by Thomas? How can he counter the jab? There's a solid left by Holyfield. Does Holyfield have the mobility to keep his distance from Thomas's punches? And the ongoing question, does Holyfield have heavyweight knockout power?
What he's got is speed, hand speed, and that's what you've just seen in the last 30 seconds. And that's what we spoke of at the top of the show. Get off first, dominate, make sure that you're punching and the other guy is protecting himself and not punching you back.
Holyfield, 6'2½", 210, from Atlanta, Georgia. 19-0, 15 knockouts. His last fight, as seen on Showtime, July 16th at Lake Tahoe. His heavyweight debut, a 5th-round knockout of James Quick Tillis.
Excellent combinations by Holyfield. Most caught on the glove of Pinklon Thomas, but under and over. Body to the head. Looking as good and slick as he has in his previous 19 fights as Evander Holyfield.
In your interviews with each fighter earlier in the week, both fighters seemed to think that both fighters were straight-up fighters. But Holyfield has really worked on his mobility. Here's a solid right by Holyfield that tagged Thomas on the head.
Set up by a good left hand. Holyfield is boxing beautifully, landing combinations. Pinklon seems mesmerized by the activity.
Punching left there by Evander Holyfield. Now a flurry by Holyfield and a left by Holyfield that connected. And Thomas in trouble early.
Holyfield going for the knockout early. Pinklon buckled.
A huge left to the head by Holyfield that really put the strain on Thomas.
Good opening round for Evander Holyfield, getting Pinklon Thomas in trouble early.
And that is it for round one. A successful opening round for Evander Holyfield. As you look at Pinklon Thomas with Angelo Dundee.
That man? Hold it. Pink. Stop bending on the guy, Pink. 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 Put the ice bag on it. Pink. Stop bending on the guy. I want you to go to this guy and break the son of a bitch. Stop bending. Stop backing up. Okay? Come on now. You can come here for this, son. Don't look backing up. Come on.
This kind of combination punching is what puts an older guy in trouble. You see his legs start to go just then. Pinklon Thomas was a little measured trouble. Look how well he covers up, the mark of an experienced fighter. Evander showing a little bit of over-eagerness just then. He wanted to put him away. He did not want to wait. Angelo Dundee, as round two starts, saying don't bend down and push him back. Bending back negates his height advantage. He's just bending into Evander Holyfield's punches. And Holyfield is obliging since he has the hand speed.
And Evander Holyfield Holyfield pick up where he left off in round 1. Round 2 scheduled for 10. Interesting irony when a young up-and-coming heavyweight named Pinkland Thomas fought James Quick Tillis at 82. Angelo Dundee was in Tillis's corner. Lou Duva was with Pinkland Thomas, and Pinkland in an upset KO Tillis in the 8th round.
And I got to think Lou Duva, being as smart as he is in boxing, knowing what Pinkland's got, has designed a good attack for Evander Holyfield, along with Georgie Benton, a very good boxing brain. They've developed a strategy and it paid off in the first round.
Lou Duva knows that Pinkland Thomas does not like to be hustled, and that's what they'll try Evander Holyfield at.
Good right hand by Holyfield, right on the noggin of Pinkland Thomas, who blinked. Pinkland is looking confused and slow.
There's another heavy left by Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield looking confident, maybe a little too confident to be cautious. Remember, you're facing Pinkland Thomas. The last thing to go is that big punch.
Does Holyfield have a heavyweight punch? Lou Duva says, so what if he doesn't? He can do it in 2 or 3 punches, what some people can do in 1.
I remember they kept saying Muhammad Ali didn't have a punch. He just kept knocking out everybody.
Right.
That's Evander's record. 15 KOs in 19 fights. Somebody's knocking him out.
Some wrestling tactics there by Pinkland Thomas. There's that jab by Holyfield.
Holyfield outspeeding him with a jab.
Thomas has a good chin, so Holyfield going to the body. Good blocking there. Good defense by Holyfield. They've been working on that as well. Digging to the ribs was Holyfield.
Holyfield is just simply a good athlete. I mean, his athleticism is unquestioned. He just does things in a ring that you got to be a very good athlete.
Good instincts, superior quickness. And we've already amplified on the hand spin. No question about that.
He's out jabbing Pinkland Thomas. Now watch an old slow jab and a real fast jab. When they both jab, they start at the same time, but Holyfield comes zipping in and lands, whereas Pinkland's jab lands in the air.
Holyfield with the combination, and Holyfield bouncing around, showing good movement. Angelo Dundee said that Holyfield has no lateral movement. Well, he's moving side to side. And there's that jab being rejected by Holyfield. All right, that's it for round 2. We will follow Evander Holyfield and listen in to Lou Duva and company.
Take your time. Time is dead. You're throwing 1 jab at a time most of them.
Okay.
Go right over it with your right hand.
Come on, breathe in, baby.
Can
Breathe
you do
in.
it?
Yeah.
All right, and if you touch it, come back with your left hooks. 2,
Take
3
a deep
left hooks.
breath. Come on.
See, now your hooks is the ones that will keep his right hand quiet. You got me covered? Okay. Get inside, go to work. You understand? And remember when I told you about that arm, that left arm. Work on it, right? Okay.
Hey, those jabs are working beautiful. But you hear me how it touches? Start snapping it. Don't let him get off first. You get off first.
Listen, stick it in the middle.
Couple nice breaths from me.
You understand?
In. Out. You're boxing beautiful out there, right? Come here.
Hey, let's go to work, son. Don't be bashful. Don't save nothing. Come on. Come on.
Hey, come here. Let's go on, yellow.
Go there with a sucker shot.
That gravelly voice you heard as the 3rd round begins was Georgie Benton, whose theory is if you can't hit anything else, hit him on the arm. You hear him say, aim for that left arm. His theory is you keep hitting that left arm, it keeps going down and has no snap in the punches. Sometimes you miss the arm and hit the guy on the chin. And that happens from time to time.
And they were saying, get off first. Get the punch off first. Oh. And there he did.
And Pinkland rocked by that hook.
Pinkland Thomas showing no mobility, slow foot speed, and having difficulty. Here's a flurry by Holyfield.
Pinkland Thomas folding.
Holyfield just nailing Thomas with punch after punch.
Big trouble for Pinkland Thomas. He's hanging on, but he has been...
Oh, brother! What a crisp left as Holyfield doubled up with the left, and Thomas is dazed. He's got a cut under his right eye, and he is dazed.
Evander Holyfield is having target practice.
Thomas is a stationary target.
Absolutely, he cannot move. He is riveted to the canvas. Evander giving him all kind of angles and getting good hard shots off.
Pinklon Thomas is in dire trouble with a lot of time left in round 3. That punch he blocked.
Evander is in
Total command.
total command. I meant to say Pinklon Thomas is in total slow motion, as if every bit of energy has been drained from him.
Beautiful defensive move by Evander Holyfield. Blocked one shot and then came in with another.
Youth and speed and reflexes. That's what we're seeing here. Over experience and old age.
The weight difference of 12 pounds in Thomas's advantage means nothing.
That formula leads to the inexorable conclusion. The young guy with the reflexes is having his way.
Thunderous lefts by Holyfield, penetrating to the head of Thomas.
Thomas taking a fearful shellacking right now from the younger Holyfield, who seems to be taking his time and measuring him. Not overexcited, just doing his work in a workmanlike fashion.
I noticed even a little smile by Evander Holyfield just now.
Just like I knew this was going to be easy, and that's what it is.
Well, he just stared right into Thomas and smiled. But that doesn't scare you. Left jab by Thomas.
He'll take a jab and then he'll turn a hook off of it and get Pinklon in trouble again. Pinklon's cut is under the right eye and it's swelling. Angelo has his work cut out for him. Dundee, one of the best cut men in the world, but he's got his work cut out.
And that'll do it for round 3. Another impressive round for Holyfield as we look at Pinklon Thomas. Let's listen to Angelo Dundee.
Come here. You all right? You got to start firing. That's your thumb. Nothing. Nothing. Okay. Come here, baby. Get a wrench. You gonna start doing something? I think this guy's gonna break his hands on your jaw. Start doing something, for Christ's sake. Let's go. You wanna do it for me?
That's a reverse psychology. The guy's going to break his hand on your chest.
Stop backing up on the guy.
Here's where Holyfield had Thomas stunned and totally dazed. And it was downhill from there. Here we go, round 4, scheduled for 10.
I think as this picks up and before Evander gets really hot, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine that I was stuck 30 days in Seoul, Korea, a man by the name of Marv Albert. You might have seen him around your house early in your life.
I think we're former roommates.
You fellas are dressed funny. I just happened to notice that.
Marv, do you notice that the white of the glove doesn't necessarily touch the anterior? Oh, what a right hand!
Big right by Holyfield. Jump right in, Martin, if you feel the urge. But I told you not to show up with me at these fights because you only confuse the fight dog.
Pinklon Thomas is much further gone than I thought. That's my first impression. He looked dizzy in the first round.
He just can't seem to handle the speed of Holyfield, who is just looked like he's having a very good time.
Evander Holyfield in total command from the outset. That jab, that famous jab of Pinklon Thomas has had no effect on the much quicker Evander Holyfield.
And as in the Dokes fight, he's holding it way down low, something you cannot afford to do when a man has such quick reflexes. Not only are you going to get jabbed to death, but the right hand is going to come over and zinging just like it did right then.
Well, Angelo Dundee told us that he was going to get Pinklon Thomas to do some more lateral movement, some more left to right motion. That has been invisible.
Well, when you're getting punched silly like that, movement goes out the window. No matter if you got the greatest trainer in the world, you can't execute if your legs are dead from the body shots, and that's what you're just seeing. The body shots have robbed Pinklon Thomas of all mobility.
Right now, Thomas just looking to survive. Holyfield is totally confident and toying, almost toying with Thomas, doing anything he wants.
You get the feeling that if Holyfield puts together several combinations, that it's going to be all over for Pinklon Thomas.
Well, Pinklon Thomas said to everybody that he was going to send Holyfield back to the cruiserweight division, but I don't think so.
I don't think there's any immediate danger of return to the cruiserweights. I don't think he can go back to the cruiserweights if he wanted to. He is a heavyweight. He has arrived, and he's here to stay.
Well, he said he has his sights set on Mike Tyson. Evander Holyfield, the #1 contender right now. The big question is, does he have the punch to take a Tyson out?
Well, right now, he doesn't seem to have the punch to take Pinklon out. He's hitting him with everything there is. Pinklon is just absolutely finished on his feet. And he's not finishing him. He's winning every round handily, and he's inflicting a lot of damage, but he is not knocking out Pinklon Thomas.
Final seconds of round 4.
So, Marv, what's your impression of the fight to this point? You think he's winning, Marv?
I think the point you brought up, the question raised, would he have the punch to go up against a Mike Tyson is the major question. I don't think that's something we'll be able to discover until they actually step into the ring. And I don't know what a Dokes battle against Holyfield would prove, and obviously that's what they are trying to set up.
Well, I think that the fact that they're going to move him against Dokes, which is going to be a repeat of the same thing. I mean, it's a slower guy against this very fast guy. If he hasn't got a punch by then he better know how to box an awful lot. The score sheet is a total wipeout by Holyfield. One of those rounds could have been a 10-8 round without any trouble because he had Pinklon Thomas almost knocked out.
You know what I noticed? Your handwriting is much neater on Showtime bouts than on NBC Sports bouts. I can't put my finger on it.
We have literate people at Showtime.
Round 5. We should point out that Barb is in town to do the Kansas Temple basketball game on NBC tomorrow right here in Atlantic City.
Nice seeing you, fellas.
Nice seeing you, Marvin. Give our regards to the coach, Al McGuire.
Bye. Round 5 scheduled for 10. The coach, Al McGuire, sitting behind us, taking in the action as well. I checked his scorecard. He had Pinklon Thomas winning. But Evander Holyfield in total command. Heavy lefts by Holyfield.
And Pinklon blinked. He couldn't open his eyes. If he'd gotten thumbed, he's blinking away there. That's the same eye that had that bad eye infection that postponed about in October.
He said had he not caught that in time, he could have lost his sight. This fight originally planned for October the 14th, and he scratched his eye in a sparring session. That's Pinklon Thomas. It was the left eye.
You get the impression that Holyfield could go 50 or 20 rounds like this. What a specimen he is.
Evander Holyfield eyeing a date with Michael Dokes, who won a unanimous decision earlier tonight against Rocky Sikorsky. That fight set for March. And then he'd love nothing more than to go against Mike Tyson, the heavyweight champ, the world champion.
Holyfield's putting in some very heavy body punishment. Right hand under the heart just brought up the knee of Pinklon Thomas. This has got to be a very one-sided contest because Pinklon is just simply not fighting back.
Holyfield dancing around and lunging with the left. He has Thomas tied up in knots.
When you see a fighter put his hand on the ropes and leave it there, that's usually a sign of weariness and frustration.
And fatigue. Well, Holyfield just showing his entire repertoire. Now the wrestling tactics by Thomas is trying to hang on.
Thomas is trying to tire him out. He's stronger and he's bigger and he's hoping that that'll wear out the smaller man, but it has no effect on Holyfield, who is in superb condition.
What a right hand by Evander Holyfield. Vicious right.
And Holyfield, once he gets him in trouble, never neglects the body. He goes right back to the body with pay dirt, and it is absolutely immobilizing Pinklon Thomas.
And that'll do it for the 5th round. Michael Dokes, who picked up a unanimous decision over Rocky Sikorsky earlier, taking in the action. Back in the dressing room. Happy holidays and season's greetings from Showtime and Sports Television International. Some Christmas spirit here on the boardwalk at Atlantic City, the Atlantic City Convention Center. That's what's going on outdoors, but indoors here, our host, Caesars Atlantic City.
Stop it right here, okay? This is the last round. You know what I mean? You want to give me a round? You're going to give me one good round? Give me one good round. Stop making him grab you around the head. Next time he grabs you around the head, hit him right in the top.
Let's look at that punch where Pinklon blinks. You see how he's blinked? I think that's a thumb in the eye. That kind of hook puts a thumb right in your eye, and you're just temporarily blinded.
Round 6, scheduled for 10. It has been all Evander Holyfield. Thumping combination.
Even Angelo Dundee willing to concede all of the previous rounds. Said, just give me one round. Just win one. He's trying to get his guy to fight one round. Maybe he can get himself together. Maybe he can get a little confidence. Right now, he has no confidence. He's just a stationary target for the apparently tireless Evander Holyfield.
Thomas inactive for some 19 months since the loss to Mike Tyson, and he is having his problems here.
You know, inactivity is the bane of old fighters. Just to stay off for a long time and come back with a hard fight like this is almost impossible.
Big right cross by Holyfield just a second back. Most of these shots are landing.
The thing that's amazing is that Pinklon has not really put in a hard punch yet. I mean, he hasn't really thrown anything with pepper on it. I mean, he's just sort of arm-weary, lethargic, disinterested punches.
Well, this was the round that Mike Tyson knocked out Pinklon Thomas. It was the 6th round back on May 30th, 1987 in Las Vegas, as Tyson defended his world heavyweight title. And here he is going against Evander Holyfield in the 6th round with a minute 23 and counting. And Thomas looking to be in all kinds of difficulty.
Oh, Thomas's legs are just jangling like a puppet on a string there. Evander almost disinterested at this point. He just can't put those punches together to finish him off. He's hit him with everything but the ring post, the proverbial ring post, and still stands there, losing every round, but still standing there.
Thomas with virtually no side-to-side movement right in front of Evander Holyfield, and Holyfield having his way almost at will.
Of course, Thomas always had a good chin, but at this stage of his career, Holyfield should have taken him out by now. It's going to give rise to an awful lot of speculation that Holyfield just doesn't have that kind of punch to get in there with Tyson.
Thomas has no power. He is just barely standing.
Well, you know, there's more than one way to win a fight. I mean, you don't have to knock out somebody. You can outbox Mike Tyson, and you can out-survive him. So he's certainly not going to outpunch him. That's for sure.
A slight flurry there by Pinklon Thomas at the bell had no effect on.
But it was the best thing he's thrown in the last 4 or 5 rounds.
And another edition of Showtime Championship Boxing coming to you from Atlantic City. Our host, Caesars Atlantic City. Good crowd on hand.
Hit him in the body as often as possible, right?
And this is the Holyfield.
Let's don't get careless. Come on, breathe in. Come on. Out of it. Breathe in. Listen. Keep that jab operating. That's when that jab is cutting him a brand new ass.
Bender, when you go down with that right hand to the body, you got to come back with the left hook. Understand? You're throwing right hands and you're not coming back with the hook. Let's go.
Lou doing a George
Gotta
Benton
move
doing
both
the
those
talking.
hands.
Well, in February 25 years ago, Angelo Dundee was in the corner of a young, strong guy fighting an old champion that could take your head off with a jab. He figured out how that young, strong guy could beat and outslick the old champion, and we had Muhammad Ali as the heavyweight champion of the world over Sonny Liston. Now, 25 years later, the roles are reversed. Angelo's got the old fighter with a stinging jab that's just about quit, and Holyfield is looking like Muhammad Ali, just bouncing and bipping and bopping and having a good time.
Angelo was with Pinklin Thomas when he beat Tim Witherspoon for the WBC heavyweight title. He was not with Pinklin when he lost it to Trevor Berbick. So he's made a difference in Pinklin Thomas's life, but right now, I don't know if Superman can help out Pinklin Thomas. Tonight is Holyfield's 6th straight Showtime Championship boxing appearance. He has beaten Ricky Parkey, Ocasio, Dwight Kawi, Carlos De Leon. That's when he unified the cruiserweight title, and most recently Quick Tillers.
And if things continue to go well and nothing unusual happens, he's cruising toward another victory here because simply Pinklon Thomas cannot win a round. It's a shutout up to this point.
Very good, cruising towards victory. He'd like to put that word out of his vocabulary right now. It's heavyweights or bust for Evander Holyfield. Look at Holyfield dancing around, and again the stationary target taking a beating. Pinklon Thomas off the ropes, and Holyfield going to town.
Pinklon is just ready to go. Oh, that was a clincher by Holyfield, but it missed by a mile.
Had he connected, it would have been lights out. Tony Perez, the referee. But Thomas continues to hang on. A fight totally dominated by the up-and-coming Evander Holyfield, who has barely broke a sweat.
And proving again and again, speed, youth, reflexes will always beat experience, even in a good top-flight fighter like Pinklon Thomas, who has been at one time the heavyweight champion of the world. Oh, what a shot by Holyfield. Pinklon almost buckled like a deck of cards.
A thumping blow by Evander Holyfield, but Thomas remains up. Holyfield with a barrage. An assault to the head of Thomas. And the bell saves Pinklon Thomas here in round 7. And he walks gingerly back to his corner.
Tony Perez taking an awful long, lingering look, and I think Angelo has said bye-bye. That's it. That's it. He's stopping it. Angelo is stopping the bout. Angelo Dundee said to the referee, that is it. We don't want any more. And Evander Holyfield says hello to the heavyweight ranks.
It is all over. Evander Holyfield dominating from start to finish. And here at the end of round 7, Angelo Dundee says that is it. So Evander Holyfield remains unbeaten. Lou Duva, his trainer, a very happy man. Holyfield 2-0 as a heavyweight. And now 20-0 with 16 knockouts overall. Thomas drops to 29, 3-1. So his 3 professional losses to Trevor Berbick, Mike Tyson, and this man, Evander Holyfield. Starting with a smile on the face of Evander Holyfield, the end of round 7. And the end of the fight for Pinklon Thomas, who just totally ran out of